In my work as a psychologist for the last 40 years who focuses on stress, I'm often asked the question, how can I reduce my stress at work? It's a great question. Let's get into it. In the course of any one day at work, there are so many different possible stressors. How about this one? Phone calls from clients, from coworkers, from your manager, from your family, from goodness knows who, even with a caller ID, you still don't know quite what to expect. How about emails? You just look at a subject line and you think, oh my goodness, I can't deal with this. How about having to make a presentation and starting to sweat over it, whether it's just to a few people or to your whole company or to a convention? And then what about just really bad meetings, stressful meetings? People are angry, people are stressed out. All of these are situations that we all face at work from time to time. Let's talk about how you can better handle them. When we think about these situations, or we have to face them on a daily basis, there's a general tendency to point the finger. Oh, that phone call is causing me stress. That presentation. Oh my goodness, my boss, this email. All that finger pointing, if you've watched any of my videos before, absolutely goes nowhere because that's what it is. It's not going to change because you want it to. So what do you have to do in order to handle these stress-producing situations in a much better way? Before I tell you how to reduce your stress at work, I'm going to give you background information, essential foundation information on why you need to do this, what's actually going on. So we have two parts of our nervous system. Nervous system is connected with action. The first part is the sympathetic nervous system. That amps us up for action. So it's fight or flight. You see the lion or the tiger, this is from the old days, and you either want to run or you want to attack. When you see a subject line in an email and it's one that you're really not looking forward to, you're going to feel that charge of energy. That's your sympathetic nervous system. We also have the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of the nervous system that calms us down. Rest and digest. Now, you can't have both on at the same time. It's a switch, one or the other. So, what you have to become aware of is when that sympathetic nervous system gets charged up. When you see a subject line in an email and you're like not looking forward to it and your heart starts pounding or your palms get sweaty, sympathetic nervous system, you want to switch it off by switching on the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a very easy process. This is not rocket science. It simply takes awareness and these three tools. The first one is to breathe. Now, if you've been watching these videos, you've heard me say this many times, and many people just roll their eyes and, oh, breathing, he's going to talk. Yes, breathing. Because when you see that subject line of an email that you don't want, or somebody's yelling at you on the phone, or you're in the middle of a meeting and it's very tense, check in with your breath. Chances are you have stopped breathing. You're holding your breath. It is an immediate switch for that sympathetic nervous system to get charged up. So we turn on this parasympathetic nervous system by just breathing. Do that now. Breathe down to your belly. That's it. So many people, just about everyone I've ever worked with, are really not aware of their breath and how often they're holding their breath. I become aware of this many times during the day. It's kind of an automatic response, but I immediately become aware and I switch into the parasympathetic nervous system. The second tool is called grounding. When we are in the sympathetic nervous system, we're ready to leap for action. But we don't want to leap for action. We want to be really grounded so we can take the next best action. Grounding means simply just feeling the chair supporting you right now and keep breathing. Yeah. And also feel your feet on the floor if your feet are touching the floor. That's grounding. Now, there's a third tool I'm going to bring in here, and there's a whole separate video on this, which has to do with resting your eyes. The eyes are directly connected to both parts of our nervous system. The central vision, when you see a subject line, or you're just at the computer all day, that central vision is amping you up for action. It makes sense, right? It comes from the time when we were hunters and gatherers. That's a lion. That's a tiger. Central vision. So you definitely want to turn that off from time to time by simply resting your eyes. There are different ways to do this. The simplest is to just close your eyes and exhale and ground yourself. There you go. Good. There's a separate video on resting the eyes because there are other techniques as well that are highly effective. So these are the 3 ways to reduce your stress at work: breathing, grounding, and resting your eyes. Now you may be thinking, Dr. B, great tools, dude, but I don't have time for this. So I want to tell you a little story. For years, I was touring the country, speaking to large audiences of dentists. And in a break, one of the dentists came up to me and she said, I don't have time to breathe. And though my heart went out to her, when I thought about it for just a second, we're breathing all the time. But I know what she meant. She has 4 operatories in her practice, and she just goes from one to the next to the next to the next. I see this with my own dentist. When she was saying, I don't have time to breathe, she meant I'm just going from one to the next to the next. So here's what I said to her and what I'll say to you. You have to find the times of the day when you can take a slight pause and you can do all 3 tools of exhaling. I'll say that rather than even breathing. Just exhale, ground yourself, and rest your eyes. I trained this particular dentist to do that, and she said it made a world of difference because when she went to the next patient, she had just, even for the moment, refreshed herself. Remember, it's a switch. You want to switch the sympathetic nervous system off, switch the parasympathetic nervous system on, and then you're good to go back into action. Life is not a one big run-on sentence. Think of these tools as commas that you can insert all through the day.